Huey? Where's the broadcast station?
Dude! This game has been out for like weeks now.
You will talk.
Okay, I'm out.
Where? Tell me.
Dragovich, Kravchenko, Stein. These men must die.
If you couldn't tell already, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is my most anticipated Call of Duty in quite some time. These games are always made in 3-year rotations, cycling out Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and Sledgehammer, ew. But this is the first year that a Call of Duty has been able to have 4 years instead, so a lot of people, myself included, were anticipating a level of polish and innovation that we haven't seen in years. Now does it deliver? Let's find that out together. The Black Ops series has always been about Cold War conspiracy, secret organizations, espionage, military secrets, CIA brainwashing, and I gotta say, I just love that shit. The story here, without spoilers, is that the Black Ops crew go on a mission to capture a dangerous terrorist during the Gulf War. During the mission, they learn of a dangerous shadowy organization called Pantheon, who has infiltrated our government, forcing the crew to go rogue for the first time in the franchise in order to get to the bottom of it, which is only solidified with the re-emergence of Russell Adler from the last game, who might actually be the key to helping the crew stop Pantheon. Even just that premise, man, is a banger. The story itself is really good. There's a lot here, and you can tell they put a lot of effort into it. Lots of twists and turns I didn't really see coming. I can't say for sure how long it took me to beat the campaign, but I definitely never felt like I was cheated in any way, or that it ended too fast. There's lots of gameplay variety here too that I didn't expect, but I really appreciate. Given that you're cut off from your typical resources with the US government, you have to rely on other methods of doing things that feel new to the franchise. Almost every mission, aside from some scripted shootout sections, can either be done stealthy like it's Hitman, or it has multiple ways you can approach it. Very often you'll come across a point in the mission where they'll give you the option to do it stealthy or guns blazing. The dialogue and gameplay options will be different depending on what you do, and it feels like it adds replayability. That being said, I really wish that there were multiple endings to this game, like there were in Black Ops Cold War and Black Ops 2. I think companies forget how much that adds to a game, and even though I've wanted that kind of stuff for years, just know that the choices here are very minor, surface level, and don't affect the story at all. Since it's Call of Duty, they always have your huge, overly bombastic, scripted set pieces that are just wild to look at, and as usual, they're always fun. But for every crazy part of a mission, they also have slower bits like a rally in support of Bill Clinton where you have to kind of sneak around and blend in, or a casino heist more reminiscent of Ocean's 11, which is probably the best mission in the game. When you aren't doing missions, you're at the safe house, where you spend time with COD characters new and old, upgrade your equipment, and explore your surroundings, even finding some hidden secrets if you look hard enough. This is where you get to know the new characters Marshall, Sev, and Felix, who are all welcomed additions to the roster, and I encourage you to go talk to them yourself when you're in the safe house, since they all have interesting backstories and personalities as well as their own struggles that you find out about later. With all this glazing, I'm sure you guys think I believe this campaign is a 10 out of 10, right? Well, no. So for me, this campaign is nearly 10 out of 10 until the end. And I really want to stress that before I say what I'm about to say next, because in order to do that, I have to get into spoilers. This campaign rocks, and it's a huge part of the overall package, but the last bit of that story really drops the ball. They really screwed up, and it feels like you're tripping balls, and I'm about to get into why. So this is your warning. Spoilers coming. Give you a second. Alright, here we go. Throughout the game, you hear of something called the Cradle, which is a bioweapon the Pantheon is going to use in order to destroy the United States by making everyone hallucinate and become super aggressive. They even hint that it might be zombies? What? Are you people on crack? Yes, really. There's a whole section in this game where you're infiltrating a hidden base in Kentucky where they were doing secret experiments of some kind, and you get infected with this gas that makes you start seeing shit. But it also seems to develop the story? Over the course of the mission, your character, codenamed Case, keeps receiving these phone calls on random telephones, and you find out that he was a patient at this facility. And they kind of make it ambiguous as to how much of what you're seeing and hearing is real, though they do confirm later on that Case was a patient there, but like, I don't know. It seems as though it was just a clever attempt to put zombies in the game, and I appreciate it for what it was, especially with those blatant nostalgia throwbacks. Don't tell me you saw this scene and didn't get nostalgic. Too easy. Yep. Oh, bro, they're playing the old song. This is cool. Oh, God, that's terrifying. Get up here, you motherfucker. This game just like randomly goes from a dark and gritty and realistic take on Call of Duty for the most part to like you're fighting zombies, and it's kind of wild. It goes from like normal story action movie to like straight up horror. And I like it, but I think sometimes the tonal whiplash is a bit much, even though I enjoy this mission quite a bit. This mission isn't really the problem, though. This is the one I like. There's this crazy bit in the other part of the facility where the statues will move if you don't watch them and they'll attack you. And as a huge Doctor Who fan, this concept is terrifying. This whole place is just one giant trip, honestly, and it's crazy. You have to fight like 4 bosses and explore the place, and then you can leave. I know I'm talking a little bit of shit about this mission, but like, I like it a lot. This is one of the most fun missions in the game. But it doesn't really fit the game. Does that make sense? Like, it just seems to come completely out of nowhere. Everything is completely normal until it's just not. And then it's just absolute chaos in this mission, and then it's back to normal. It's kind of weird, but this mission is fine. This is fun. The last mission is where I take issue with this game and its story, because they really jumped the shark at the very end here. So near the end, you learn that your contact in the CIA, Harrow, is helping Pantheon, and has been the whole time. In a twist that is so obvious, I joked about it on stream long before it happened. And when we capture her to interrogate her, I was excited. I thought we would get a tense torture scene, like the one from Modern Warfare 2019, where you pretend to almost shoot a man in front of his family to screw with his head. But that's not really what you get here. In this, Adler injects her with this weird serum that stimulates having a schizophrenia episode? So in her mind, she's split between a good Harrow and an evil one, and you play as her in her own mind. No, I'm not joking, this really happens. And delve deep into her childhood while putting together this mirror, I guess, that's supposed to represent her fragile psyche and shit to get her to give you the information about where the bomb is gonna go off. Bro, what the hell? You don't see this woman for almost the entire game, and literally in the last 2 missions, she not only becomes the main villain, but she also becomes the person you play as for the end of the game. And she gets all this development about the CIA having her parents killed and stuff, and it's just weird. Like, it doesn't make any sense. She gets more development than anyone in this entire game, and it's all in the last mission while you're basically tripping on shrooms, okay? This mission is wild. Insane shit happens in her head, and it makes me feel like I'm playing Black Ops 3 again. And that story also made no sense, but it was for the whole game. Then eventually she does give up the location of the bomb, and it's in the White House. The team makes a call, and they evacuate everyone and find everything, and it's fine. I feel like a more explosive ending, trying to defuse the bomb, or maybe raiding the White House or something, would have been way better of an ending, instead of shooting zombies of yourself in your own head, while Woods walks you through it. It's trippy, and it's weird. I like weird, but like, this just didn't make any sense. It's tonal whiplash to a crazy degree. Afterwards, the team is all good and everyone's safe. They meet with their CIA contact Livingston, and he basically says he wants them to be a covert Black Ops team off the record, doing things in the shadows that the government can't do. I like that ending overall, and boy does it set up a good sequel, because if they keep doing every 10 years, well, 10 years from 1991 is, well, you know. So again, I'm pretty curious how they're going to do this next game. Overall, this campaign is pretty damn awesome, to be honest. The only thing that really holds it back is the last mission being a bit of a letdown. But otherwise, I really enjoy it. It also felt like it took me a good amount of time to finish, like 8 hours at least. Definitely felt longer than normal, which I appreciate. And Call of Duty proves once again that it does have characters, no matter what the people from Vanguard would tell you.
How do we make the iconic COD characters? Because you don't really have that in Call of Duty right now. You know, when you think about a game like, I don't know, Halo, you think of Master Chief or whatever. When you think of COD, there isn't really that standout, like, oh, these characters.
Really? Oh, so that's how you're gonna play it. Oh, that's not so much. So?
Those are only from 2 games, by the way. And now it's time we jump into multiplayer and see how that holds up. I really enjoy the multiplayer offerings here. I'm mostly what you'd call a casual, unless I really practice, but honestly, I'm kind of getting good. Before we get into any other things, let's talk about gameplay. The gameplay is fast, buttery smooth, and fun, which is kind of expected considering how many games this franchise has produced at this point, but still. The real innovation here is the new Omni movement system, and in my personal opinion, it really adds to this game. I cannot tell you enough how many times I've dove backwards, forwards, sideways into a room, narrowly avoided a mine, and all this other shit with it. It's almost like it adds a new layer of strategy to the game, giving you more options to engage in combat than before, and making you feel like an action hero. Which the developers stated very clearly was the goal. It's a lot of fun here, and with the zombies mode in particular, it adds some really tense sections. The rest of the gameplay is virtually unchanged, but that doesn't mean it's bad. If you like Call of Duty, you'll like this. If you don't, then you won't. That's how it always is. You know what you're getting into. I also think that the time to kill is also pretty good. If you get headshots, you can drop somebody near instantly, it feels like, but if you don't, it feels like it's somewhat fair this time around. Score streaks are back, and it feels somewhat fair here as well. They feel easier to get than kill streaks, and they're always fun to use. Also, screw that guy for shooting down my rocket. If you pull off some kind of sick kill with a Semtex, getting multiple enemies, or you can cuss them before you shoot them, or all this other shit, you can get some pretty cool kill streaks out of it, and it's fun. Class customization, in my personal opinion, feels better than it's ever been, honestly. There are so many scopes and camos and attachments to where you can really customize your weapon to fit your playstyle. I'm a fan of the C9 personally, and I feel like SMGs dominate in this game, as they kind of always do. I haven't tried every weapon yet, but that's just my experience. SMGs and assault rifles tend to dominate this game, I feel like. But most others are also quite usable. The only one I really didn't feel like had a ton of use yet is snipers. And that's in part due to the smaller map sizes. There's not really a whole lot of maps that are big enough to really justify using a sniper. One or two, but other than that, I felt like snipers weren't very useful in this game. By the way, side note, COD, please stop naming your weapons as weird names that aren't their real names. Most of us know what these guns are. Please just call them by their names. It's not really that hard. The options here for customization don't just extend to the weapons, but to perks as well. Once again, we have wildcards back, which give you the options to do things like have a second primary weapon or extra tacticals, but that's stuff we've seen before. What we haven't seen before are specialties. No, not specialists, specialties. Right here. So if you have all one color of a perk equipped that supports a specific playstyle, it gives you one of these 3 abilities as a bonus. This is pretty good because most players play in one of these 3 ways regardless, and it feels like it encourages those playstyles. The customization overall is pretty good. The only real gripe I have is, like I said, I don't feel like shotguns and snipers are very useful in this game overall, as the fast pace and smaller maps make them less useful. Speaking of which, let's go to map design. The maps are a bit of a mixed bag for me. There are some I like, some I don't, and some I think are okay. I really like maps like Skyline, Subsonic, and Vorkuta, But there's other maps I don't really like Babylon, Red Card, and Scud. Like half of them are typical 3-lane maps, which I usually gravitate towards, but others kind of just feel annoying, honestly. When I play Scud, I feel like it's just randomly placed things for cover and has no real pattern to it at all. They do seem to be adding maps very soon. The Season 1 update is adding like 5, and they already added Nuketown, so most of my complaints will probably be answered in time. Normally, I really whine about things not being there in the launch, but the Season 1 update does seem pretty extensive, so it's hard for me to complain too much. Yeah, honestly, the multiplayer offerings here are pretty great. The only thing I do have to mention that kind of ruins the experience a bit is the skill-based matchmaking. Everybody knows, but in case you don't, skill-based matchmaking basically means that you are matched based on how you did last game, not how you do overall. So it creates this very inconsistent experience at times, where one game you will clap cheeks, and the next game your cheeks will get clapped. It's not uncommon to have one game where you have a 2.0 or higher KD ratio, then the next game you get like a handful of kills and die like 15 times. It's frustrating, and I really wish that they would fix this with a very easy solution. It's called ranked lobbies. They've done this before, and this problem was solved way back in the 2000s. It's really not that hard. Let the sweaty tryhards have a ranked lobby, and then just make it where you can match with anyone, and anything goes. It's been that way before, and people loved it. There was no problem with this. But now, it's time for zombies. Bro, they fucking cooked with the zombies mode, dude.
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo!
Fucking finally, man. I know Cold War Zombies is considered good, and I kind of liked it too, but like, I've been waiting for zombies to be good for so long at this point, and I'm so glad. Round-based Zombies is back, and it rocks. And we got not just one map, but 2 at launch. A standard which the first Black Ops set and not many games have done since. It needs to be the norm from now on. Yes, more of this please. You got Liberty Falls, the admittedly much easier one in an abandoned city. They even have a bowling alley, which is cool. And you got Terminus, a much more challenging map set on a remote prison island with lots of secrets and weird shit to uncover. One thing that is kind of strange though, is you can create a class before you go in, which I think is carried over from Cold War. It doesn't make you feel overpowered though, because weapons have rarities and the starting weapon you get is only good for so long, so I think it's fine. Round-based Zombies is just how it used to be, with some much appreciated enhancements. I'll get to that in a minute. You can still buy guns off the walls, of course, use a Pack-a-Punch to upgrade your weapons, and use the mystery box to get a gun at random, and, sometimes, a really good one.
There's a big old buck.
Oh god! Guess what I fucking got?
What? What'd you got?
I'll give you a hint. And also, Gobblegum has returned as well from Black Ops 3, which is a welcome addition. I enjoyed it. There's also new things they added here as well. For example, you can pick up scrap from killed enemies and use it to craft super useful things like RCXDs, turrets, air support, and even a self-revive you can use in a pinch. And if you've grown partial to a specific gun you have, even Pack-a-Punched it, but it's not high enough rarity to do enough damage, there's a solution for that too. You can also put elements on it as well to do crazy things like make black holes and shit, or freeze enemies. Perks are of course back too, obviously, and has all the classics that you love, like Speed Cola and Juggernog, as well as a few new ones. Typically in past COD Zombies, you would eventually get bored after doing everything, and you and your buddies would just die outright on purpose once you had everything you wanted. But here, they brought back the exfil option from Cold War, so you can leave and go out on a win if you manage to survive the waves of zombies at the end. And it's always fun. And for those of you who love the typical zombie stories and Easter eggs, well, this game has you covered too. There's lots of story here to uncover, and even a way to finish the level and unlock a secret cutscene which sets up an interesting future story. It's a lot of random shit you have to do, and I have no idea how anybody would figure it out without Googling it, but, you know, it's there. I did it last night, and it's pretty fun. Overall, Zombies is just... it's great. It's the shit. Honestly, I don't really have much more to say about it, except it's great. If you love zombies, you definitely get what you want here for sure. As a package, I really think Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is the best COD we've had in years. The campaign is epic, mixing together Cold War conspiracy shit with Modern Warfare stuff we've seen from Infinity Ward recently, even though the ending mission does leave a bit to be desired. One thing I did forget to mention though, is that COD HQ is stupid and needs to go away. I shouldn't have to uninstall large chunks to make your game less than 300 gigabytes. And I certainly shouldn't have to open the game, launch it, then it forced me to quit to desktop so that it will launch the campaign as if it's some sort of separate entity. It's annoying. Stop it. Really though, look at this shit. I have this sped up just so you can see the process I had to go through just to start the campaign here. This is fucking stupid. The multiplayer is great, and seems to only be getting better with time. They're adding maps, modes, weapons, and all this cool shit. If only they'd fix the fucking skill-based matchmaking, it would be damn near perfect. Zombies is as good as it's ever been, with lots of fun to be had, secrets to discover, and 2 big maps to explore. No complaints here, to be honest. I've had a blast with this. As a whole, I really do think that Black Ops 6 is worth your money, and is only increasing in value with time. And if you can't buy it, you also have Game Pass as an option too. They're really banking on that, honestly. This game is worth your time, and for me, it gets an 8 out of 10.
Mission accomplished. Good work.
Hey everyone, this is probably the most, no it is the most ambitious video I've ever done here on this channel, and I would really like to do more of these, so I appreciate you guys coming here toward the end. I really appreciate that a lot, excuse me, and I'd like to do more game reviews, because frankly this is what I would like to do for a living. That's what I want, and because it's just a passion that I love, and it's a hobby that I love, and I just love to be involved in it. So if you want to like, subscribe, share with your friends, whatever you want to do, I appreciate it. I really do. And put in the comments what you think. If you don't agree with me, that's okay. I'll be reading them. So just go ahead and let me know what you think. And yeah, I guess that's all I really got to say. But anyway, I will be streaming here tonight, actually. So I will see you guys soon. Drop a follow if you haven't already to my Twitch. The links will be down below. And subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate you guys. Have a good one.